Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki.
Jai.
This is Gaur Nitai from ISKCON Melbourne. Gaur Nitai ki jai. This is Radha Vallabha deities from ISKCON Melbourne, and they also have Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go ahead and offer prayers to the spiritual teachers. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vikna Vinasha Narsimha Iti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desh. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so as usual we will read something from the introduction of Bhagavad-Gita. So we can start with Rasini Mataji, then I'll just go down, follow the participant names, okay?
Okay, Mataji. In this world, men are not meant for quarreling like cats and dogs. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. A human being should realize the aim of his life, and this direction is given in all Vedic literatures, and the essence is given in the Bhagavad-Gita. Vedic literature is meant for human beings, not for animals. Animals can kill other living animals, and there's no question of sin on their part. But if a man kills an animal for satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste, he must be responsible for breaking the laws of nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly explained that there are three kinds of activities according to the different modes of nature: the activities of goodness, of passion, and of ignorance. Similarly, there are three kinds of eatables also: eatables in goodness, passion, and ignorance. All of this is clearly described, and if we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified, and ultimately we will be able to reach the destination which is beyond this material sky.
Thank you, Mataji. So, human being must realize the aim of this life. Okay, so there are main three questions which we will cover in level 3. What are these questions that human being can ask that animals cannot ask? Of course, basically animals cannot ask questions, but human beings can. But what are the important questions that human beings are asking? So that we will cover in level 3. And so we are reading, basically what we can see from here is that we are here gathered to read Bhagavad Gita. So this is meant for human beings. Okay, and then what else it is mentioned here? Animals can kill other living animals, so no problem with that. That is their nature. So they are not breaking the laws of nature. But if human beings kill the animals, then it's considered breaking the laws of nature, and we are responsible for the reactions. Okay, so before we enter chapter 8, we want to know what is the importance of that chapter 8. So we have just started learning of the Mahatmya of each Bhagavad Gita chapter from last week, the 2 weeks back, chapter 7. Okay, so remember the guy who dies and then he becomes a snake, and then he is taking care of the wealth, and then his descendant told to read chapter 7 so that he can move on his spiritual journey. So that is chapter 7, if you all remember. Okay, so now we are entering chapter 8. So the glories of chapter 8 of the Bhagavad Gita, as spoken by Lord Shiva to Mother Parvati in Patma Purana. Okay, so Lord Shiva starts by saying, "My dear Parvati, now please listen to the glories of the 8th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. After listening to this, you will feel great joy." Okay, so okay, before that, I would like to tell, in the south there was this town called Amarth Kapur. So there lived one Brahmana. His name is Bhava Sharma. This Bhava Sharma, he married a prostitute. Okay, So on top of that, his whole life activity, he was a Brahmana, and then his life has changed. He started enjoying meat, drinking wine, stealing, going with others' wives, and hunting. Okay, which is not the duties of Brahmana. Okay, so one day this Bhava Sharma was invited to a party, and there he drank so much. He drank so much alcohol. Okay, he got so intoxicated that the liquid is not going into his body. He's so full, overloaded, and then it's so overloaded that it started coming out of his mouth. So this is to describe how, to what extent he is actually trying to satisfy his senses. And then after that party, he became very sick, and then he got a serious illness because of that. And after many days of suffering, he died. When he died, he attained the form of a date palm tree. Okay, he became a palm tree in his next life. So as he was, standing there as a palm tree, there were two ghosts came and resting under the palm tree. They are called, in the scripture, they are called Brahma Rakshasas. Okay, so they came and they took shelter under that tree. Okay, I keep hearing something, so I'm just going to mute. All right. Okay, so these two Brahma Rakshasas came and rested under the palm tree. Okay, so flashback of this Brahma Rakshasas life. So they are a Brahmana and his wife. So what they did, Brahmana, they don't really work for some income. They usually do service in the temple, and then they go begging for alms, and that's how they sustain their life. Okay, so what happens is that the wife is little evil, and what she does, she takes that whatever donation that they are getting to themselves, and they don't perform any charities. They became very greedy. Okay, even though the Brahmana was very learned, this is a very important point to remember because it will come later. Okay, so even though he was learned, but he was very greedy. Okay, with his wife, he collects a lot of charity, but he will never share with any other Brahmanas, any other people. And then when they eventually die, they got the form of Brahma Rakshasas. So usually the Brahma Rakshasas or people, people who depart and couldn't get a material body because of their reactions, they will be, wandering from everywhere. They're wandering everywhere in the subtle body. They wouldn't have a gross body like us, they don't have that. Okay, so they were wandering here and there over the earth, and then they were like, constantly feeling hungry and thirsty. This is the suffering the subtle bodies go through if you do not progress on the spiritual path. Okay, so they became this Brahma Rakshasas eventually after they died. Okay, so suddenly this wife, the Brahmana wife, asked the husband, how can we get free from this curse of being Brahma Rakshasas? She asked the husband. So the husband answers this: by knowledge of Brahma. Brahma means Brahman, God, not Lord Brahma. By knowledge of Brahma, by knowledge of the self, by knowledge of fruity activities. So note the point here, he's mentioning about three things. How to escape from this Brahma Rakshasas form? Get knowledge of Brahma, knowledge of the self, knowledge of fruitive activities. Without such knowledge, it is not possible to get free from our sinful reactions. So this is the answer. So the wife asked, Kim tad Brahma, Kim Adhyatmam, Kim Karma. Okay, so let me go back here. Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma. Okay, that's why she's asking this question. What Brahma? What self? What fruitive activity? So like this, she'll ask, oh my Lord, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? So exactly whatever the husband mentioned, she wants to know what are these. So for your information, this verse is the first verse in chapter 8. You can open your Bhagavad-Gita and you can see, it will be there. Kim tad Brahma, Kim Adhyatmam, Kim Karma. I hope it's 8.1. I'm not sure if it's 8.1 or 8.2. Yeah, it's 8.1. Okay, so by asking this, she accidentally recited the first half of that one sloka, one Sloka has 4 lines. She accidentally recited 2 slokas. The moment she recited this, when she accidentally said this, you know what happened? Sorry. When she did this, the Brahmana who is trapped in the palm tree form, the tree broke and he came out. He came out in his original form, the Brahmana form. And the moment that happened, a flower airplane came and took this Brahmana and his wife and went to Vaikunta. Okay. So it shows that that sloka is so powerful that he can deliver the Brahma Rakshasas. Okay, so what after this Brahmana and the wife went off, you can follow the line, the story, right? She asked the husband how to get relief from this Brahma Rakshasas form. The Brahmana husband say we need to get the knowledge of Brahma, knowledge of self, and free from fruitive activities. So she'll ask, what is this? What is this? What is this? The moment she said that, she actually recited the first half of the chapter 8's first sloka, and the Brahmana from the tree came out. He got liberated from that tree form. An airplane came and took the Brahmana and the wife to Vaikunta. So what happened to the Brahmana who came out from the tree? And he realized that the potency, the significance of reciting that sloka, he actually, what he did, he wrote it down. Brahmana Bhava Sharma, with great respect, wrote down that half sloka. We are not talking about one sloka or the whole Bhagavad-Gita. We are talking about half sloka only. Kim Tat Brahma, Kim Adhyatmam, Kim Karma Purushottama. Kim is what? What is that? And with the intention of worshipping Lord Krishna, he went to Kashipuri and started performing great austerities while continuously chanting that half shloka. This is simply just by asking a question. Okay, they were transported to the Vaikuntha Loka. So what happens here? Lord Vishnu is reclining here. Mother Lakshmi is Goddess Lakshmi is serving him. Suddenly, Lord Vishnu woke up from his sleep. Then Goddess Lakshmi asked, "Why have you risen so suddenly from your sleep?" And then Lord Vishnu narrates that, "My dear Lakshmi, in Kashipuri, because this Brahmana, he went to Kashipuri to spend the remaining of his life. So Lord Vishnu said, my dear Lakshmi, in Kashipuri, on the bank of the river Ganges, my devotee is performing great austerities, continuously chanting half a sloka of the 8th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad-Gita. For a long time, I have been thinking how to award his devotion." Okay, so back to Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva. So Mother Parvati asked, "So what happened then? Lord Vishnu seems to have been pleased with his devotee. What benediction did he bestow upon him?" So Lord Shiva said this, that Bhava Sharma went to Vaikunta to engage in the eternal service of the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Not only that, not only the benefit comes to that Brahmana Bhava Sharma, but all of his ancestors also attained the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So that potent, the half of the sloka of Bhagavad Gita has. Okay. And finally, Lord Shiva says, "My dear Parvati, I have described to you just a little of the glories of 8th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita." Okay. So Jai to chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita. Jai, all glories to Lord Shiva who narrated the benefit. So that brings us to chapter 8, attaining the supreme. So chapter 8 and chapter 7, they are very close. Okay, so there's a very close connection, and it's like a continuation of chapter 7. Okay, in chapter 7, text 30, Arjuna would have Krishna said this, Adi Bhuta, Adi Daivam, Adi Yajnam, Adi Yajna. Okay, Krishna mentioned these 3 terms. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of all the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So this is the point. So here Krishna mentions 3 terms here: Adi Bhuta, Adi Devam, Adi Yajnam. So Arjuna is going to ask, what are these, my Lord, in chapter 8.1. Okay. Jai Prabhu, can we hear you? Just the translation, Prabhu. Jai Kishan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hello.
Yes, Prabhu, you can go on. Translation.
Translation. Arjuna inquired, "Oh my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? Brahman, sorry. What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain these to me." Hare Krishna
Okay,
Mataji.
thank you, Prabhu. So, like I say, Arjuna starts asking question, what is this, what is this, what is this? Okay, Arjuna is actually here, Arjuna is recognizing that Lord Krishna's position as not just as an ordinary person, okay, and no more as a friend, but as a supreme person. So, he put forth this question. Okay, we move on, yeah. So, these are basically questions, okay, and he continues on, got two more questions, okay. Jayanti Mataji. Kala Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body? O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of the death?
Okay. So Arjuna continues to ask, who is the Adi Yajna? How does he live in this body? Oh, Madhusudana. And how do we know you at the time of death? So there are five questions here. See, Brahma, Adhyatmam, Karma, Adi Bhutam, Adi Deva. Don't worry, I will go through that. Okay. And then continues Adi Yajna. Okay, Lord, who is the Lord of sacrifice, Adi Yajna, and how does he live in the body? Asmin means reside, okay, and how to know you at the time of death. So total 8 questions, okay. So out of these 8 questions, this chapter is going to focus mostly on this 8th question. Definitely Krishna will answer the rest of the questions, but pretty briefly. Okay, but the chapter 8, the question 8, Krishna will elaborate. Okay, so move on. This is very important. Okay, so now Krishna is answering from 8.3 to 8.4. Can you see? Out of 8 questions, 7 questions Krishna is answering only in 2 slokas. The rest of the 22 slokas, Krishna gonna use that to explain number 8. Okay, let's go one by one. Okay, first Arjuna asks, what is Brahman? Okay, Brahman means indestructible living entity. Aham Brahmasmi. Some people misunderstand that when they say Aham Brahmasmi means I am God. Actually, it's not. Okay, let's try to learn and understand this today, that Brahman here means spirit, living entity. We are Brahman. The Supreme Lord is Para Brahman. Okay, clear? We are just Jivas. Okay, Jivatma. Krishna is Paramatma. We are Brahman. Krishna is Para Brahman. We are just tiny spark of the big Brahman, the Supreme Brahman. Okay, so that is Brahman. Okay, that is the question. And this is the answer. Okay. Next question, Adhyatma. Atma means the self. Okay, who is Adhyatma? Adhyatma means the controller. Okay, now there are 2 types of consciousness here. How do you view this? Material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. Okay, in conditioned life like us, we are thinking we are the controller. We are controller. But based on the platform of spiritual consciousness, we see ourselves as not the controller, but the controlled. Okay, we are the servant of the Supreme Lord. We are the servant of the Supreme Controller. So that is Adhyatma. Okay, non-kadu. Yeah. Next is karma. Karma, okay. We have learned a lot of things about karma, right? From level 1, from level 2. Okay, karma is basically work of fruitive activities. Activities meant for the material body. Okay, but we also need to know that these are not just activities, not just doing the activities. It's actually more than that by doing these activities, okay, by doing these activities, the actions, the consciousness will influence or generate our next material body. So that's how important understanding karma is. Okay, activity which generates a material body for the living entity in the next birth. Next, Adi Bhuta. Adi Bhuta is the material manifestation, the physical world. Okay, why it is said they're constantly changing? Because the matter in the material world goes through 6 stages. It takes birth, it grows, it maintains for some time, it produces byproducts like giving birth and so on, it dwindles, and then eventually it dies. So if you count, there are 6. Takes birth, grow, maintain for some time, produce byproducts, dwindle, and dies. So we all go through this phase in this body. Okay, these are the phases that the physical world goes through. Okay, that's called changing physical world. Adi Daiva, who is the supreme demigod. Okay, if you remember in level 1 in chapter 11, when Krishna shows his universal form, everybody is seen entering Krishna's body. Like on the left side is the devas, on the right side is the demons. So the universal form contains everything. So he is a supreme of the devas. Okay, so that is Adi Daiva. Okay, universal form that includes all the demigods, planets in the universe, everything. So for somebody who is new, they cannot understand the Supreme Lord as one who resides in our heart. It takes time, it takes some knowledge to understand that. So these new people, they're advised to, or they will be inclined to worship the Supreme Lord, seeing the universal form. Like the legs are the lower planetary system. These are all in the purport. You can actually go and read. Prabhupada explains very nicely. And the eyes of the Lord is the sun and moon. So they are worshipping the Supreme Lord by seeing these forms around them. Okay, and the upper body is the head is the upper planetary system, like that. But one who realizes himself, or who has attained the spiritual realization, will understand Krishna who is residing in his heart. Okay, and what else? Adi Yagya, Yagna or Yagya. Okay, the enjoyer of sacrifice. So who is the enjoyer of the sacrifice? It is Lord Krishna himself. How does he enjoy it? He is residing in our heart as super soul. He is present in everybody's heart as super soul. That is how Krishna expands into all living entities. And when he sits inside our heart, he is witnessing all our activities. He knows what we are doing. Okay. However, the Lord doesn't stop us from doing things. He gives us freedom to the living entity to act as he likes. Okay, he is the seer, overseer, and the permitter. This one is in the in chapter 13, I think. Okay, and then finally Arjuna asks, where does this Adi Yajna reside? Like I mentioned, as a super soul, Krishna resides in everybody's heart, in the heart of everybody. Finally, how to remember Krishna at the time of death. This will be covered in the next slokas until the end of the chapter. Okay. Okay, let's continue reading. Lata Mataji. Just the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone at once, attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Okay, so this sloka is suggesting us that we have to be Krishna conscious at the end of life. Okay, what is the example here? Let's hear some talking. I've been talking all the while, right? Anybody can tell me what's happening here?
During the Kurukshetra war, oh my god, I actually can't remember who is lying down there, but
Grandfather Bhishma.
yeah, Bhishma, yeah. he's on the arrow, on the bed of arrows, and he's about to leave his body. And I'm not sure. There's this particular, yeah, what is it?
Why he didn't leave immediately? What is he waiting for?
He was waiting for a particular time or what?
He was waiting for the time, right? The actual time for his soul to
Actual time.
release the body.
Yeah, because he has the boon. It's called Icha Mrityu from his father, which means he can choose the time of his death. So that's why nobody could kill him. That is the external reason. What is his internal reason? Want to try? Somebody? We are at the chapter 8, attaining the supreme.
So that his soul can reach to Lord.
Not quite. Definitely he will reach the Lord. Yeah, that's for sure. But what he wants to do to get that, to achieve that. See the sloka.
Something to do with Krishna or something.
Something to do with Krishna. Yeah, Mataji, tell me what is it?
Something like he's trying to soak himself into Krishna before leaving his body.
Why he wants to wait for Krishna? Look at the sloka.
He announced the 1000 Mahavishnu's name.
Yes, Prabhu?
Sahasranamam.
No, Prabhu. Look at the sloka. Remembering me alone. What is he waiting for? He was actually waiting for Krishna to come, because Krishna did not come immediately. And if you look at the Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Bhishma Dev will be, I think one whole chapter was his advice to Yudhishthira. He'll be talking to the Pandavas about how to run the country and everything. He'll be talking to them. But he actually waited for Krishna to come. He was just waiting for Krishna to come so he could see Krishna. So the description is given so beautiful that he actually admires Krishna, so that he can leave the world thinking of Krishna, seeing Krishna like that. Even though Bhishma Dev was on the opposite side with the Kauravas, okay, but he knows who Krishna is. Okay, just a few Mahajans there, they know who Krishna is truly there. Okay, so like this, we have to practice Krishna consciousness throughout our life. Then at the end of life, it will be natural for us to remember Krishna. It's very tough, okay, to remember Krishna. I think we have gone through this in level 1 or earlier in level 2, that what is the feel of a person who's going to die? What kind of pain is that? Did I share that? Like a creature biting. Did we learn that? Like a creature biting us. What creature is that, and how many of those? It feels like how many thousands of that biting us?
Thousand of
Semut dah.
Not semut. Aisyah, semut kau boleh spray lah. Of course no spray lah. What creature is that? Death, the pain of death. Scorpion, any idea, scorpion?
yeah.
Mataji, I think you are getting it, but it's just not coming out.
The sting of scorpion.
Yeah, yes, it is, the Shastra says that the pain of death is like how many thousand scorpion biting you at the same time, simultaneously. So that kind of pain. So at that kind of pain, can we actually remember Krishna if we did not practice? Just like our exam, how can we remember? 2 years studies. Okay, I can actually quote STPM. Like STPM is like 1.5 year. Right? Can you remember 1.5 year punya lesson at the end of the second year if we did not study? Yeah, so it's tough, It's tough. Not objective to tembak. Okay, so we need to study for exam. So like that, we need to practice Krishna consciousness for us to pass the exam, for us to remember Krishna at the end of our life. We have to study to remember some lesson when we are doing exams. So like that, that is exam of life. Okay, so we move on. As Bhishma lay on his deathbed, his thoughts were with Lord Krishna. Okay. 8.6, this is revision, so we will just run as fast as we can. Guna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Guna Mataji, is it okay if I ask you to explain what do you understand from this sloka? You can choose the picture to explain also can. Do you want to try? Guna Mataji, are you there?
It's like
Hmm.
sorry Mataji, I cannot.
Okay, no problem. Okay, who else? Who wants to volunteer?
I tried.
Okay, Mataji.
The man is in the bed. Is before he die, he's thinking of his wife. He will change into a lady. If next birth, he will become a lady. Then the frog, he eat the fly. Then the fly next life will become the frog. Then the one King Bharata is think of the deer. When he next life he become a deer.
Yes, very good, Mataji. Thank you. So we have to be careful. At the time of leaving the body, we want to hear Lord Krishna's names. We want to think of him. So to get to that point, we have to practice. All right, so that is the fact here. Okay, so remember in chapter 6, what Arjuna said about the mind? Just 2 chapters ago. After Krishna explained all the Dhyana Yoga and everything, right? Where to sit, how to sit, how high you must sit, what you must do, and then how to control, and where you must put your vision and everything. What Arjuna said after hearing everything from Krishna? Who can remember?
We must. The mind is very means complicated. Even can't control. It's like the wind. Even we can't.
What exactly Arjuna said? Did he say the mind is like the wind, or he say it's worse?
Control the mind is like controlling the wind. What? I also forgot already the word.
Yeah, he said the mind, to control the mind is even more difficult than controlling the wind.
Yeah.
Even like wind, he says it's very turbulent and difficult to control. Okay, I got another question. And what did Krishna answer to that? Sharmila Mataji, do you remember? What Krishna answered to that comment from Arjuna? Okay, who wants to try? Roja Mataji. Do you remember what Krishna said when Arjuna complained? It's so difficult to control the mind, Krishna. What did Krishna say? Lata Mataji, do you want to try? Anybody? Rasini Mataji? What Krishna said? Krishna said it's possible with 2 things. What is that?
With knowledge.
Nahi.
Doing our activities as an offering for Krishna.
No, dear. Lata
Keep
Mataji.
the mind in me.
Not quite.
Mataji, clue.
Clue.
By remember me. Krishna said, by remember me.
With this and I know it's impossible, but with this and this, one can overcome this, like that he will say. One word starts from P, another word starts from D.
Divert.
No.
Determination.
Practice.
Practice. Somebody said practice. Okay,
Practice.
one more.
Devotion.
Devotion.
No.
Discipline.
Somebody said detach.
Detachment.
Somebody said detach.
Detachment.
Yeah.
Oh, practice and detachment.
Very good. Now who can find out which sloka is that? Don't kill me. Okay, assignment, please find out. So now you can fast forward to chapter 8 and see that it's not easy, but it's possible with what?
Practice and detachment.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Okay, we move on. 8.7. Roja Mataji, are you there? Would you like to read?
Yes, Mata. Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Tasmat sarvesu karesu anushmara yudhya. I Mano Devai Vyasi Asur Saya. Therefore, Arjuna, give to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. You will attain me without doubt.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Actually, the line is, I think, cracking. Is it mine? I'm not sure. Okay, so
For me too, Mataji.
okay, then I think Mataji's like that. But anyway, thank you, Mataji, Roja Mataji. So this is an important instruction. This is also a revision. So what actually Krishna is saying here? Krishna is not telling us to give up all work and only think of him. Of course, Krishna said thinking of him at the time of death, you will come to his abode. And to do that, you have to constantly think of Krishna all your life through. Okay, then I drop everything. I'm just going to sit and meditate on Krishna. Krishna knows that we will come to that conclusion. Krishna knows that Arjuna is going to think like that. Oh, okay, I can just think of Lord Krishna. That's easier and better than fighting. So I don't have to fight. So Lord Krishna says, wait a minute. I'm not telling you to give up all work and only think of me. He says, continue doing your work, but think of me always. Okay? You should always think of me. At the same time, carry out your prescribed duty. So whenever we come to these lines like prescribed duty of fighting, so don't think Krishna is asking us to fight. Okay, because this advice is particularly for Arjuna, because Arjuna is Kshatriya, and generally for the mankind, and we have to apply what is our duty to the society in this material world. So that we have to go on doing. Okay, so we go on working, we go on cooking, we go on studying, we go on doing this, doing that, but side by side, we want to keep chanting her holy names, keep the holy names always on our lips, on our mind, and keep hearing it, keep hearing the kathas, keep hearing the philosophies, keep hearing, listening. What is listening in Sanskrit? What is the first devotional service?
Savaranam.
Very good. So now all memorized already. What's next?
Kirtan.
Third?
Kirtan.
Let's see how much everybody can remember. Sravanam, Kirtanam. After you hear, after you sing or speak or chant, what do you do? With the mind, what do you do?
Smaranam.
Smaranam. Very good. These three is very important.
Remember,
If you remember all the 9 also is very good. Okay, so now we are doing these 3. Every week we are doing this. Hearing, chanting, and remembering. So we are trying to recollect also what we have learned in the past. Okay, so remember, I say Arjuna might think that he no need to fight. He thinks thinking of Krishna is very easy. I can do that. I don't have to fight. But no, Krishna say, fight, but at the same time, think of me. Okay, so here we have the mentally, how are we engaging? We are thinking of Krishna. Physically, we are engaging in activities, and we engage our intellectuals. This way, we will get the result. What is the result? Attaining Krishna without doubt. Without doubt, Krishna is not giving any uncertainty, no ambiguity in any manner. Okay, so I would like to summarize this 8.5, 8.6, 8.7. Who can remember Bhishma Dev story? What did we cover in 8.5? To attain Krishna, we must remember
Remember him
Remember him at the
at the time of
death.
death.
Very good. After that, remember the frog story, the fly story. What happens?
One attains the form that they remember during the time of death.
Yes. At that, one will automatically remember the mood he cultivated throughout his life. Okay, so what is the best way to engage the mind on Krishna?
Detachment and practice.
Okay. Okay, what is the best method to achieve that? How to fix the mind on Krishna? Like I say, we are ongoingly, we are doing a lot of work. So what is the easiest method for us to always remember Krishna?
Chant
Yeah.
the names of
The most
Krishna.
effective means for fixing the mind on
Dhyana Yogi.
Harinam Sankirtan. Okay, so now Krishna will tell us different ways of remembering Krishna. Now he already said the benefit remembering and how to, what are the things we need to do to remember him. Now this is going into details.
I want to read.
Anybody has not read yet?
Me, Mataji.
Okay, Sharmila Mataji.
Okay. One who at the time of death fixes his life air between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, so from verse 9 to verse 13, we're going to learn Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Yoga Mishra Bhakti means remembering Krishna through meditation. So there are a few ways that we can remember Krishna. So that is what Krishna is teaching us. So first is remembering through meditation. This is like a little bit of a spin-off or extension from what we learned in chapter 6. So Krishna says here, you fix your life air between the eyebrow, okay, and then by the strength of yoga, okay, you remember Krishna at one pointed focus. Okay, this is for people who are practicing yoga. Okay, you have to lift the life air to the eyebrow and focus there. Okay, this is also a bhakti. Okay, but this is mixed with yoga. Okay, dhyana. This is a very special feature of yoga, very advanced. It's very challenging, very difficult. So generally, it is not encouraged for people in general. It's not encouraged for general people. Okay, so if you see this, this is goal of Sat Chakra Yoga, which means that is, okay, this yogi, he will engage himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion. For this is called goal of Sat Chakra Yoga. You know, the opening of the third eye or things like that. Yeah, so this Krishna say you can do this also. Okay, next, this is Dhyana Yogi. Next, Krishna will talk about Jnana Yogi. Okay. Who has not read yet? Jayanti Mataji?
I haven't read verse. Mataji.
Rasani. Okay, Mataji, can.
Okay. So 8.11 Jnana Yogis. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in a renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation.
Okay, thank you. So, what the Dhyana Yogi did, they have to meditate and bring the life air to the center point of the eyebrow, and that's where they focus on the Supreme Lord. So, what does the Jnana Yogis do? Jnana Yogis, what they do is they also do meditation, but they vibrate the mantra Om. They do this. Okay, the Jnanis utter Omkara. So, this is also a form of Krishna, because Krishna said of all the syllables I am Om. He has said that, right? Okay, and these are the requirements of the Jnana Yogi. They have to be learned in the Vedas, because Jnana, yeah, and knowledge. They must utter Omkara, and they have to be renounced, that means detached. Okay, they have to be renounced, and they have to practice celibacy. Okay, and celibacy means brahmacharyam. Okay, so now Krishna is going to explain in detail, but we will not go into that. If you want, you can read it's tough. Okay, actually, we just want to go bring you to the shortcut, which is easy. Everything we want easy, right? In this Kali Yuga. Okay, 8.14. Who wants to read? Yi Mataji?
Yeah, I read. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Parvati, because of his constant engagement in devotion service.
Okay, now quick recap. Before this, I mentioned two types of remembering of Krishna. Who can tell? Just only. We are now at Bhakti Yogi. Before this, what did we learn? Krishna explained two types of remembering. By who
Dhyana.
and who? Hmm?
Practice detachment.
Two types of yogis before this. Can put in the chat also. We just did it.
Dhyana Yogi.
Dhyana Yogi.
Dhyana Yogi and Dhyana Yogi.
Yes, dhyana through meditation, bringing up the life air. Second is Jnana Yogi. Can you tell me one of the four requirements? One or any of the four requirements? There were four requirements, right, to achieve that, to achieve the Jnana Yogi position.
Try your life air between your eyebrow.
Okay, so that is Dhyana Yogi, right? So
Brahmacharya.
now I'm asking Jnana Yogi. What are the four requirements?
Brahmacharya Mataji.
Okay, that's one. Anybody else?
Jhana.
If Jnana, they must have knowledge. Knowledge of what?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have nine participants here. I want everybody to speak.
With knowledge.
They must be learned in what?
Learn it in Vedas. Learn it in Vedas.
Yes, learned in the Vedas. And then, so learned, celibacy, celibate, two
must
more.
celibacy.
What is the requirement? What they must utter? What they must chant? What do they chant? Do they chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra?
Omkaram. Om.
Om.
Yes,
Omkara.
Omkara.
Yeah, Omkara.
Yeah.
Yo.
One more. It starts with R. You can also call it detachment, but what is the term we learned just now?
Renunciation.
Renunciation. Oh, thank God. Rasini Mataji, you saved us.
Now, yeah.
Okay, today we are squeezing our brain a little bit.
Our brain.
So we are here. Now Krishna is always, in all the chapters, Krishna finally, when he scored the goal, he always glorified the path of bhakti as superior to all the rest. Okay, for one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain. Like I say, we always want the easy way, right? Oh, son of Partha, because of his constant engagement in devotion service. So you can see the picture here. Nobody is sitting still. Everybody is talking, everybody is eating, everybody is cooking. This young girl is praying. So you don't need a highly qualified brahmana to come and do some worship in your house. A small child can do. Anybody can speak. As long you are hearing, you can speak. And I think here they are cleaning something. I think they are cleaning the temple, and somebody is selling the books, somebody is buying. So the activities are going on macam biasa, normal life, day-to-day life. But when they are carrying out all these things, it's either they centered all these activities around Krishna, or when they are going about doing their work, office and everything, they are thinking of Krishna. They are also in a way Dhyana Yogi. They are also in a way Jnana Yogi. They are also in a way Karma Yogi. You know, Karma Yogi, what they do? They work, they sacrifice some part of their earning for benefits of the society or for the Supreme Lord, right? So that is Karma Yogi. Okay, so previously they are also bhaktis, but those bhakti is mixed with karma, yoga, and dhyana. And this is called pure bhakti or kevala bhakti. Earlier was yoga mishra bhakti, bhakti mixed with yoga. This is kevala bhakti, pure bhakti. Okay, very fixed concentration, ananya cheta, very fixed without deviation. Okay, so this way is very easy to obtain Krishna. Okay, so these practitioners of karma yoga, jnana yoga, hatha yoga, or dhyana yoga, although they have bhakti there as a goal, but they also have their own self-interest. Some wants to get some siddhis and some powers, things like that. But when it comes to pure bhakti, it's totally selfless. Okay, pure bhakti practitioners, they desire nothing but Krishna's service. What is the meaning of the Maha Mantra? Anybody would like to share? What are we praying for every day by chanting the Maha Mantra? Who's chanting every day? Maybe you can share. What are you actually praying for? Lata Mataji, would you know what is the meaning of the Maha Mantra? Mataji, you are there?
Yeah, Mataji, I'm thinking.
Okay. So Hari means Radharani, energy. Krishna is the one who is all attractive. Rama is one who gives pleasure to all. So when we put all these three words together, there is a prayer. This Maha Mantra is a prayer. What are we actually asking for? Anybody else? Roja Mataji, would you know?
Realization.
Datta Mataji, you already tried? What's Rasini? What is it, Rasini Mataji?
Nak clue.
Like ultimate realization or something like
The
that.
clue is something to do with service.
Service.
Devotion.
Yeah.
Devotion.
Oh Krishna, oh energy of Krishna, please engage me in your service.
Remembrance.
No, please engage me in your service. That's all.
Aku je.
That's all. Please engage me in your service. That is all. That is the safest prayer. Reason I just like to share. Recently, my friends and I were talking, and then there's something that these two friends, they were really praying hard for something. Why this is not happening? Why this is not happening? And that thing happened. Okay, whatever they prayed for so hard happened, but the thing that happened to them, it didn't last. So when it didn't last, they feel frustrated. So I say, isn't this what you prayed for? When the Lord doesn't fulfill our prayers, we always say, oh, the Lord is so cruel, not giving us what we want. But finally, when He gives, it doesn't last, and it's ending up in more frustration than they were before. Then I said, I think the safest prayer always is just say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, which means please engage me in your service. So that is the safer, because sometimes we don't know what are we praying for. We don't know what we should pray for. We simply ask, and then when it come back to us, it creates more bondage or more trouble for us. So as a Supreme Father, Krishna knows what to give us. So we think that, oh, I think I know better what I want. So please, Krishna, give me this. We beg and do this and that. We beg and cry. And then finally, when Krishna gives, didn't last. And then gives us problem also. We cannot handle it. So it's always best that we keep the prayers very, very safe like this. That's why I concluded, like just this realization just came to me like 2 weeks ago. And I feel like it is so true. This Maha Mantra is so powerful because the Lord knows what to give us. And it's very safe prayer for us. Okay, so just sharing out of my heart. Let's say you are in something, you really don't know what to do, in like dilemma, right? You just do this, chant this Maha Mantra. Krishna knows what to give you. Okay. All right, so we will move on. Okay, yeah, we were talking about, okay, can you see this picture here? This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We like to give one example of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how he actually incorporated Krishna consciousness in his life. We always think that sannyasis means, they give up everything, they don't work, they give up their family life, they go, travel from holy place, one place to one place, and then they die like that. Let's introduce Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, before I go to who is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I need to know. Okay, Shamila Mataji, Hare Krishna. Who is this?
Prabhupada.
Okay. Who is Prabhupada's guru?
Bhakti Didanda. I can't spell, but almost like Bhakti Didanda.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. Remember the Namaste Saraswati Devi? So this is the name. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is Srila Prabhupada's spiritual guru, spiritual teacher, a guru. Srila Prabhupada's guru's father is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Anybody would like to guess what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur worked as when he was alive on this material planet? Just give a guess. He was working. Mataji, do you know?
I know he wrote many songs only.
By profession, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the district magistrate.
Oh, district magistrate.
Magistrate in Jagannath Puri under the British government. Okay, so this is his schedule from morning until night. Conclusion from here is that about only 3 hours he rests. This half an hour here, 2 hours here, 2.5 hours here, and then that's it. I think it's about there only 3 hours, about 3 hours. Okay, he writes a lot, he chants, and then he does his correspondence, and then he studies. Okay, and he has his court duties, and he's got a lot of children also, and then he's got court duties, and then he does his translations, and then he retires by 8 o'clock. Okay, so he just rests around average 3 hours a day, and then because he does a lot of studies, japa. Okay, that's like 4.5 hours, and then his writing is about 8.5 hours, and then his working for the government is about 6 hours. So he was following this schedule very strictly, but he is a very enlightened soul, and he is the father of Srila Prabhupada's guru. So this is a classic example how we can go about doing our daily activities and still think of Krishna. Okay, so we conclude the chapter 8 verse 14 that Bhakti Yoga is easier part. It is easier and is more effective if you can remember him without deviation and constantly engage in devotional service. Okay, now we are talked about attaining the Supreme. Now Krishna wants to talk about his supreme abode, because he keeps saying, right, when you come to my abode, you wouldn't come back to material planet. Okay. Jai Prabhu, would you like to go again?
Mataji, is it the English version?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the higher perfection.
Okay, yes. So here Krishna promises that there is no birth for pure devotees. Okay, so Krishna will go on to explain about spiritual world. But before that, in 8.16, here Krishna talks about spiritual planet, right? Now he's going to contrast that with the material planet. We want to see the opposite. Jai Mataji, are you there? Mataji is not there. Kala Mataji. Can go now, Mataji. No, Mataji is not there. Lata Mataji.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Yeah, sorry. Okay, can go, Mataji.
Yeah, from the highest planet in the
Mataji, I think the line is breaking.
My line, huh?
okay, not
I can hear
It's
Kala.
okay, it's okay, Mataji.
Mataji,
from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all the places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attained to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So, if you see here, Krishna says, they will, once they attain Krishna's abode, they will never return to this temporary world. Whereas, on the contrary, when you are in material world, whether you are in the Satya Loka or Brahma Loka, up to the lowest, down to the lowest, miseries take place. What are the 4 miseries? Can anybody share?
Mataji, did you just say that the forms of misery?
Yeah, the 4 types of miseries. What are those?
Illness,
Disease, okay?
Mataji. Illness, and then
aging,
Okay. Disease.
misery, illness, aging, poverty.
No.
That means body and mind. You mean
Can I
aging,
try?
Two more.
Death and disease, old age, birth.
Yes.
Oh,
There you
good
go.
place.
Okay. So we have done this before, so I hope you all remember after this.
The first picture got me, I didn't see the baby.
This one, right? Yeah, it's very small. So birth, this is
Age.
disease, this is old age, and this is death.
Oh,
Okay, so
both
wherever you go, you get this. Okay, so this is a basic difference between spiritual world and material world. So Krishna is trying to tell us, don't come back here. You will somehow you will not escape this. This is the real problem of life. Everybody goes through this. Okay, so this one we already covered in level 1. So we will not spend so much time here. Okay, why? So what? I'm on this earth. I want to go to heavenly planets. In heavenly planets, I was told that we can really enjoy endlessly. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong aiming for heavenly planet? What's wrong in aiming, staying in planets of the Devas or the Siddhas or wherever, you know, the beautiful planets, the higher planetary system? So the problem is here, the timeline of the entire material creation. Okay, Kali Yuga. Let's see Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga lasts for 432,000 years. Okay, you may want to have calculator next to you. Okay, before that is Dwapara Yuga. It's 864,000. Treta Yuga 1.3. Satya 1.7. If you add up all this, you will get 4.32 million. This is called one yuga cycle, one cycle. After after Kali Yuga finishes, Satya Yuga comes again, and then it goes again, like this. When it goes like this for 1,000 cycle, okay, that is only 12 hours of Lord Brahma. So you go another 1,000 cycle, that's the night time of Lord Brahma. So if you take this 4.32, which is just 12 hours Lord Brahma, you times 2, okay, you times that to 2. Okay, for the celestial years, for, how do I say, okay, 12,000 celestial years is 4.32 million human years. That is only 12 hours of Brahma. So you take this 4.32, right, times 2, because we want to count 1 day of Brahma. So you will get 8.64 million human years. That is just 1 day of Brahma. And Brahma lives for how many years? Who knows?
1,000 years.
No.
400.
100.
100. Brahma lives for 100 years. So if you take this 4.32, you take times 2, and Brahma lives for 100 years, and his 1 year is 360 days. Here you count 4.32 million times 2 times 360, and then you times 100 years of Brahma's age. You will get this 311.04 trillion years. And this is the amount of time the entire material creation will last at one cycle lah. Okay, and after that what happens? Who knows what happens after that? What will happen to all the material planets?
Go back to Krishna body, all dissolved by Krishna.
Yes, everything will be destroyed. So that is called Mahalaya. Okay, but before that, there is partial annihilation also. That means every night of Lord Brahma, partial annihilation will happen. At partial annihilation, which means after 8.64 million years, okay, 1 day, right? After 1 day of Brahma finishes, I hope it's not very technical. I'm making it as simple as possible. Okay, so all the material planets. Sorry, I know you can be seeing stars now, but what I'm trying to say is, at every night the planets all will be destroyed, and then another day Brahma comes and then all the things will come back. So we cannot imagine as like 1 day of our human day. Is Brahma's day is 8.6 million years later. Okay, so 8.6 million later, all these planets all will be destroyed. So when all these are destroyed, enter the Garbhodaka Vishnu, one part of the entire creation will not be destroyed. So Krishna says this. Let me read that, okay? That which the Vedantis describe as unmanifest and infallible. Infallible means flawless. Okay, it will not fall. That which is known as the supreme destination. So Krishna is talking about his abode. That place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. So Krishna says, when all this entire creation is being destroyed during the partial annihilation or the greatest annihilation, Mahalaya, that spiritual will not will not be destroyed, and those who are going to that place will not come back to these material planets. This is what Krishna is saying. Okay, so still seeing stars? Okay, I'm sorry, you have to read, then you will understand. You have to use the calculator and count and see, oh my God, I am being destroyed here in material world in 100 years. But let's say even if I want to go to heavenly planets to enjoy, but even the heavenly planets also eventually will be destroyed. So why would I want to go to a place where it's destroying? I want to go to a place where there is no destruction, right? Okay, because Krishna already said up to Brahma Loka, you are having birth and death. After you finish all the credit that you have accumulated when you're living here, you're going to enjoy your credit, and once you're exhausted, you're still going to come back and you're still going to take birth, you're still going to grow old, you're going to get diseases, and you're going to die. Okay? All right, so this is the description of spiritual world. It's unmanifest, infallible. It is called the supreme destination. Okay, let's go to one by one. Okay, it's eternal, it's infallible, it's full of unlimited bliss, happiness. Here in material world, the fact is that when you feel happy, is actually when the sadness is absent. When there is no sadness, you are feeling happy. Okay, that is that fact. Okay, this spiritual place is a place where it fulfills all desires. It's all attractive, it's unmanifest, can't be seen, material eyes, transcendental, supreme destination, a place of no return. So this one Krishna promise, okay, not I promise, Krishna promise, you will not come back. Okay, 8.28, this is a revision sloka. Let's read. Who has not read? Guna Mataji, second round, have you read? Roja Mataji, your hand is up. Do you have a question? Can somebody read?
I'll read, Mataji. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing, actually, Roja Mataji's hand is blocking the text. Let me. It's okay, it's okay. Simply by performing devotional service, right, Mataji?
Service, yeah.
He attains all this at the end. He reaches the supreme eternal abode.
Okay, so this is the verse that summarize the 7th and 8th chapter. Okay, means this person can achieve the benefit that you can get from studying the Vedas, performing the sacrifice, doing the austerities, or giving charity, or undergoing, pursuing philosophical and fruitive activity. All this is culminate in the devotional service. At the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. All right, that is our last sloka. Simple, right? It's very easy. Krishna always summarize at the end by giving the superior position to bhakti. It's easy. Okay. I think that's okay. Who knows what story is this? I think we have done this story. Should I go through the story? Is there anybody who doesn't know this story? Or anybody who would like to narrate the story? Use your memory. We are at the end already. This is the last couple of slides on the story.
I remember the name, but the story I'm not very sure.
The Brahmana's name is Ajamila.
Ajamila, yes.
Okay. Story is
I remember from the batch one. Batch one, pula, upper level one.
Level 1, yeah. And then I think I also had, I think we've done the story so many times. What happens? Mataji, share lah.
I do.
Okay, let me find.
In the highlight, Ajamila is a Brahmana. He because he saw people cutting, then he changed his lifestyle. Then he tried doing bad, going search for
He married a prostitute.
He married a prostitute. Then at the time of death, because he got the son named Narayan. Then at the time of death, he called his son, he called Narayan. Then the
Vishnu Dutas came.
the Yamaraj, Yamaduta, they all come and want to take Ajamila, but when he called his son Narayan, then only the
Vishnu Dutas
Vishnu
Dutas
come and help him and take him to the abode.
Yes. So why Yamaraj servants cannot rip off Ajamila's soul from his body? Why it was stopped? What did he do? Anybody? Yeah, did he chant knowingly? Consciously?
Unknowing, he calling his son. He's not.
He wasn't even calling the Supreme Lord. He was simply.
Yeah, Narayan is the Supreme Lord. Yeah, because he can name the Supreme Lord Narayan.
Yes. So, because initially he was a very nice, learned Brahmana. He had a very nice upbringing, but in between he went drifted. And then by the mercy of the Lord, actually what happens is that, this story, actually the boy that was born to him, the boy Narayana, his original name was not Narayana. Somebody came to his house when he was not around, and somebody asked the wife, what is this boy's name? And the wife said this boy's name is something else. Then the sannyasi or the swami who visited said, please change his name to Narayana, because he will save your family one day later. So that is why the name actually became a savior of Ajamila at the time of death. So Yeah, so that is the background story of the boy's name, Narayana. So when Yamadutas came, they had very lengthy conversation with the Vishnu Dutas. And then when they went back to the Yamaraj, their boss, they say, boss, we couldn't carry out our order. This Vishnu Dutas came, the ambassadors of Lord Vishnu came and stopped us. Why is that, Yamaraj? Is there somebody who is more powerful than you who can stop us from carrying out our work? Then Yamaraj say, oh yes, whoever that is chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, you are not supposed to take them. They are not under my jurisdiction. They should not be brought into my kingdom, my hellish planet kingdom. So that will be another lengthy conversation between the Yamaraj and the Yamadutas. Okay. So after that, when Ajamila, I told you, right, the Yamadutas and Vishnu Dutta, they were having lengthy conversations. So all the while, what Ajamila was doing, he was actually watching them and listening to their conversation, and the Vishnu Duttas are glorifying the holy name. That is why they cannot let the Yamadutas take Ajamila. So after he came out of his deathbed, he repented and he went back to the worshipping life, devotional life. And finally, at the end of his natural death, the Vishnu Dutas came and fetched him on the this airplane, this beautiful celestial airplane. Okay.
And he became blue, right, Mataji?
Sorry?
He became blue, right?
Yeah, he attains the Vaikuntha. So in Vaikuntha, they will attain, it's called Swarupya Mukti. It's the 5 types of liberation. One is attaining the same type of body of Lord Vishnu. They will have 4 hands, but they will not have the Sri Vatsav mark on the Lord Vishnu's chest. Okay, the one only the Supreme Lord Vishnu will have. Okay, so this is level 1. So remember, Arjuna asked 8 questions and Krishna spent a considerable number of slokas to explain the 8th question, how to attain Krishna. Okay, and how to remember Krishna at the time of death. I mean, the importance of remembering Krishna at the time of death. And why it's important, because when we remember other things at the time of death, then we are going to get that consciousness or that body, that gross body. And the easiest way to remember Krishna throughout our life is the chanting and practice devotional service. Practice, that means do it with our own limbs. And then Krishna gives the comparison between material planets and Krishna's spiritual abode, because we don't want to argue that, no, I want to go to heavenly planet. It's okay if I don't get earth, but I want to go to heaven. So we need to understand that heavenly planets is also under the material kingdom, this material planet system, and eventually it will be destroyed. So when this material creation is destroyed, Krishna's spiritual abode is not destroyed. Right? Okay, so finally Krishna concludes that those who accept the path of devotional service gets the benefit of performing all other things, okay, and more. Currently we have offer for Bhagavatam 550 for Tamil, 750 for English. You will never get this price anywhere anymore. So it's very limited. That is because somebody has subsidized it. That's why we are able to give almost at the half price. Originally it's 1,200. Okay, shipping is also free. Okay, so that's all. Any questions? Okay, I want to ask you all, on the 25th is Christmas. Okay, let me just stop.